But they've also started attacking us. Well, that's okay. That's the nature of politics, you would have thought. But I tell you what's not okay. What's not okay is what happened to me in Edinburgh. I mean, being locked in a pub, I ask you. Well, I couldn't resist that, could I? Yeah, I must admit I have had a few lock-ins in my life, but none quite like that. But what was even more unacceptable was what happened in Brighton this week. And in Brighton this week, Nigel Farage, the local chairman, had booked Hove Town Hall. The local branch had worked hard. They'd put 20,000 leaflets out advertising the meeting. And it was, I've done 1,000 of these over 20 years around the country. People are welcome to come to our meetings, welcome to come to my meetings. And I always say at the beginning, whether you're here as a member, whether you're here as a supporter, or whether you've come along just to confirm that you really don't like me or UKIP at all, you're all welcome. And if you've got a contrary point of view, I will let you make that contrary point of view. Have your say. We'll have a debate. It's why people come along to public meetings. They want to hear a range of debate. And we did this on the Common Sense Tour, all over the country, to great effect. There was opposition in every hall. And really, in a political meeting, that's right and proper. And it's as it should be. And indeed, I'm proud of the fact that we're the only party that does public meetings in this country, because all the rest have gone to ground. I'm proud of that. But what happened on Monday was an organisation that is called Unite Against Fascism put 100 people, 70 protesters outside the hall, 30 protesters inside the hall, and they did it with the explicit wish that they would stop me speaking in Hove. Now, one or two things we need to say about that. The first is the idea that we somehow represent fascism when we represent democracy, individual liberty, defence of habeas corpus, and all the things that UKIP has stood for as the only libertarian voice in British politics means they've got completely the wrong target. And the idea, the very idea that you should stop people speaking freely in a democracy is profoundly anti-democratic and very, very dangerous behaviour. But I notice, if you look at Unite Against Fascism, that the president is Ken Livingstone, that the parliamentary officer is Peter Hain, and the European parliamentary officer is one Claude Moraes, somebody that I've known well and actually rather liked over the course of the last 14 years that I've been in Brussels. It is perfectly clear that UAF is funded by the same trade unions that fund the Labour Party and is given its legitimacy by the Labour Party. I am not surprised that Alex Salmond refused to condemn the people that made life for Stuart Wheeler, Gwaine and myself so difficult in Edinburgh. I'm not surprised in the least, because I've long known that the extremes of Scottish nationalism, frankly, are no different to the EDL or many other extreme forms of nationalism. But I have written this week to Ed Miliband, as leader of the Labour Party, as leader of UKIP, to say that whilst I disagree with Mr Miliband on many points of policy, I believe him to be a decent Democrat, and I've asked him either to get this organisation under control or for the Labour Party to disassociate itself from Unite Against Fascism. And Mr Miliband, I am waiting for an answer. I hope you do the decent thing. Whether you do or whether you don't, the one thing I want to say to all of you in this hall, and one thing I'm absolutely determined will happen, is whatever these protesters try to do, they will not stop me and they will not stop UKIP from engaging in debate with the British people. They won't stop us.